just a reminder to everybody, I have to go set up my green room pretty soon. But
I am technically making lunch now too, but I haven't eaten anything yet today. I'm starving. But
oh no.
But no, I kind of lost my train of thought. Now that we're recording, now I can't think of anything to say.
You were talking about repeatedly proving trust and being sustained, and also I had mentioned about connectivity with other people.
Yeah, that collaboration is going to drive you to keep going, because then you enter into a conversation and it's not a one-time thing anymore. It keeps going. It's sustained.
Right, and it's how you build relationships, as those repeated conversations as well. Is that you don't just have one conversation and go, hey, thanks for the good times, ciao. You know, that you build on those conversations as well.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. These are things that we as humans already know. I mean, this is how we build friendships. This is how we build our personal relationships. So it's funny when people come over to marketing and they go, oh, well, it's going to be completely different than what I know about people. Well, no, it's just connecting people. That's it. I was an engineer for you.
Andre, don't tell anyone, because you just disrupted the whole SEO.
I know. I'm destroying my own image. Like, get a book, read it. I mean, that's honestly, yeah.
I mean, the depth of that. I mean, it's really important. I mean, I have these moments, right? Usually I just dodge my inner critic and I used to do my 10,000 Google Plus posts per year as I do, right? Kind of shoot from the hip and happy-go-lucky, that's me, right? Then I have these kind of slightly more Ingmar Bergman Swedish moments when I shouldn't swear because it's recorded, right? There's 1,200 people in the community, and there's nothing I can do that will not vex, intimidate, frustrate, anger, piss someone off somehow, or the other way, right? I mean, so those moments those are impactful kind of back to me, right? I mean, whoa, there's a lot of people here, right? I mean, some of them are very important people, all capital letters. And then I just relax that, yeah, but if it is so, then I can just as well kind of be as authentic as I possibly can, right? And then I just continue being myself. So this, I usually recover very quickly from these kind of moments, right? But I think it's still good to realize that there's a truckload worth of genuine, real people out there. I mean, it sometimes almost hits you, right? And that I mean, I told Sarah and Christine, right, that when I do Hangouts, I have this little trick, right? So I imagine you and all others as if you're sitting around my table, and suddenly you are as if real human beings again, right? I mean, I forget, right? Because sometimes I can sort of have this as if you just sort of thingies on my laptop screen, right? So yeah. I mean, you are, right? I mean, but then I need to sort of remember that you're not. But
and the G credit helps with that.
Yeah. I was talking in the last, I was just in the midweek marketing mix. I know Kristen was in there watching. But I was talking about, you know, like Martin Shervington, Mike Alton. They seem like robots. They honestly do. The amount of content and everything they put out, but they still engage. They still interact with people consistently, and it's not broadcasting. And I think that's really it. Like if you can balance those two of people looking at you and going, holy crap, how does he do all that? But then you're also sitting there and connecting with everyone. I mean, it's hard. It's definitely hard. But you know,
and Mike particularly, I think, because he actually shares like his family pictures too.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good thing also with the persistence. I think you mentioned that, Andre. That if you keep at it for long enough, I mean the crazy association he's got, right? The Swedish rock unit, the Hives, right? It's not really my kind of particular kind of music. I'm kind of in a different camp, but you need to give them respect for the guy. They've been doing their thing again and again and again, year after year after year, and until they got to be doing the, what do you say when you do a gig and then comes the main gig and the
the opening.
They were one of the opening acts for Rolling Stones.
Right. Oh, and now they're the headliners, right?
Yeah. Right. So I mean, and then they went to kind of public with what they kind of felt, because they were inside with this very VIP, right? I mean, you can't get any more VIP than the Bloody Rolling Stones. But then they just said, "Whoa, these are just old, wrinkly guys." It was just lovely to read that because they just wrote down the first thing. I mean, and obviously the Rolling Stones guys loved that they were kind of seen as old geezers that they actually are, right? So they weren't dazzled at all. They just said, "Hey, cool," right? So this is also impact on many levels, right? If you do your thing, whatever that is, your story, and I mean the rest is kind of you put trust. I mean you get trust in return back, right? If you kind of yourself for long enough, and people kind of realize that. But also if you put trust in a network, that is trickier. I still haven't got a recipe for that, but you kind of listen to some people you trust really much, like Sarah, Christine, Andre, David Amelin, Gideon Ross, and Jeff Jokic. Those who've been around the block, and you know that if they're saying something is good, then it is, right? If they say something is... I mean, you guys would never tell that to me, right? Because you're too nice for that, right? But when I noticed that you aren't as overbearing, positive, then whoa, I'm going to do less of that, right?
I did disagree with
As
David.
is it right now when I'm talking too much, and then yeah, time for you to shut up, John, because now there's questions, so better not, right? So, and I mean this is good, right? Because there's tons of people out there where I would never be able to sort of get that collective intelligence, but I can listen to the network, and then I know, right? I'm better at least.
What did you disagree with about from David?
Oh, I don't even remember. I just remember I talked to, and then we ended up having like an hour-long conversation after the hangout. And that was another thing that I loved about David is he barely knew me, and he's sitting there like helping me work an issue out, and you know it was cool. I mean, it was something with SEO, and we didn't agree. Yeah,
that was my first experience.
Right, but
yeah. And also, now we're using kind of a. Are we on the 7th dimension of impactfulness now? I mean, we're using David Amelin, right, as a kind of a social object, as kind of a real live avatar, right? So
the Amelin avatar.
The avatar effect, the Amelin effect. I mean, we could actually kind of make a bit of a fun about this, right? Because it helps us sort of triangulate, because we all have sort of met him. He's a stand-up guy. He's human. He's also, as Andrew said, one of those impressive machines. And I think the machine thing is not... I mean, obviously, I could name some who have sort of gotten over to a bit too much on the dark side, right? Their voice is kind of a bit too metallic, right? But part of that is not to be feared. I mean, we are performing, helped by, enabled by, augmented by some algorithms, right? I mean, I still remember kind of when April of last year, when they published those view count things, right? And I just saw, holy sweet mother of something, right? There's millions in view count, right? Because, I mean, before that, I really didn't know, right? I don't do these kind of clever shenanigans sort of behind the scenes, right? I do my own very strange qualitative measures, right? But I mean that was a godsend for me, because online I saw that, hey, the network works, right?
Yes, it.
So and I mean
my traffic to my site is proof it works. I mean, honestly, it's like 94% Google Plus. Honestly, it's not good for me. I need to, like I said before, I'm trying to differentiate my networks, but I mean, it's still, it's proof. It's there. I mean, that's yeah.
And also something you said, Andre, where the search thing, right? It's surprisingly how many marketers doesn't realize that Google is in the search business. I mean, they really should know that, right?
Every day I get +1s and shares from posts from 2-3 years ago. They have to be coming up in search. No one is scrolling that far down in the stream that they're coming across that.
Yeah.
So that really, I mean, it shows me that the Google plus your world, it's working. You know, the social search, which is the one probably good thing about my big following. It sucks because I think it limits my engagement. It's just too many people. There's a lot of unused profiles. There's a lot, it was the suggested user list nonsense, which I'm still on somehow. I don't understand why, how. I want to get off, but I keep getting 500 new followers a day. But they don't.
You
really
want to get
change.
off?
Yeah. Oh my God! Please get me off the train. That's no. It's ridiculous. I mean, I would have been happy. Stop at like 80,000. That's a respectable number, and you can still make some waves. But with this, I mean, it's just like Facebook. If you're only reaching 10% of your audience, and 90% of that audience is fake or not there, I mean, you're only reaching 1% of your audience. It's further. It's you get more diminishing returns the more followers you get, unless you're just posting, GIFs and inspiration. Sorry. Sometimes inspiring things are nice, but
I mean that is actually something that I would like for you to elaborate on tomorrow as well. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers in my head, right? But all four of us have we slightly different size circles? I mean, I'm clocking in at around 30,000, I think.
I have 283,000. I don't even know what to do with it. 29.5 million views.
Yeah.
It means something.
But there's I mean, around 20% of my leads comes from content that is more than a year old.
Right.
So, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and also since this is kind of my long-term strategy towards world domination, right? We're not going to solve people's time issues, time problems, because then if you can do things that are just as good a year from now that it is today, right? And obviously this is really, I mean, but that is impactful, but that is a very, very difficult dimension to address, because we are more influenced than we might sometimes think about. I mean, case in point, recently, why the Je suis Charlie, right? I had kind of a little bit of an agony because I usually don't do those, right? Jumping on any which kind of bandwagon, because I'm sort of doing my shtick, and thank you very much. Yeah, I can sympathize with you in private, but no, right? But then I just felt that I have to. I just have to. And then that will be gone, right? After a couple of weeks, who bloody cares if someone kills someone else? Because we've been doing that for a couple of million years, right? So kind of, yeah, fine. We're going to do that until we don't, right? So, I mean, that might sound harsh, but I'm kind of working on things that, I mean, trust, impact, authenticity, authority. Those are, they won't stop being important.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you're saying exactly what I was just thinking too. It's not, people need to stop focusing on, let's say, putting out a blog post about the latest news on Twitter, what the new feature is. Like, we get it. There's a million of those posts out there. Thank you for repeating exactly what Twitter told everyone else about that feature. What's more important is you got to dive into like what you said, the core values, the core things. So instead of talking about the Twitter video specific thing, talk about how video impacts and changes social, how video has changed the internet, how you use it in your own business. I mean, and then you can also mention, and Twitter has a new video at the bottom, and that's kind of link to Twitter. That's all you need to do.
I mean, I'm sorry if I came across as sort of too harsh. I obviously not approve of people killing each other, right? I mean, I hope you didn't read that into.
We're just gonna delete that recorded segment, right?
Yeah,
you don't want that one out there.
That's the only thing I want to go down in history for, right? Johnny says it's okay to kill other people. Yeah, we're going to. But I mean, talk about impact, right? There's also a subtlety here. I mean, Kristen is kind of the uncrowned champion of meta tags and on the spur tags, right? But I think we covered that already in a kind of famed.
Okay, I just have to pull in my post from yesterday, the connections we make when we begin to see the face of another and the everyday activities we engage in, then we may acknowledge the impact we have had on one another. And it was a picture of, I took a bite of a tomato and I was like, this looks like Iblis.
Nice.
And I couldn't see what that was. I mean, kind of, Whoa, some abstract.
That's what. Well, that's what I said. I said.
Take a bigger bite.
Christine is really out there this time, right? And then I saw it, right? And I mean, that really is impact, right? Because suddenly it's not. I mean, I need to sort of suffer some pithy quotes on pretty pictures, right? Same as everyone else, kind of community manager worthy of his salt, right? But that was fun, right? I mean, that was really great. That was and we need to remember that people have seen quite a few cats and dogs and beautiful winter pictures and whatnot. I mean, I do some of those, right? I first admit, and they are sort of impactful in the long run. You can sort of wear down your poor audience, right, by proving to them that you are nice or human or whatever you want to sort of convey. But I mean, that was fantastic. But I mean.
Well, but when you're just doing it for the sake of engagement, then it's it loses all meaning. You know, there's countless profiles that are doing those circle shares that you click over and all it is 500px image by this, 500px. It's like they all got the same RSS feed and they're just pushing it into Google, and it's. I mean, they have engagement, they have 100 pluses, some shares and everything, but you're just. What does it do?
Don't you just look at it sometimes? You're like, how did that piece of crap post get that many pluses?
I know, it's mind-boggling, isn't it? Okay, everyone, I have to go, so I will see you all tomorrow.
It was a good primer. I also want to eat. I need food in my belly.
I mean, should we do kind of a short impactfulness blurb, or should we just sort of go right off the bat, or what? What do you reckon?
What do you mean?
I mean, our
how do we want to start?
We were just doing kind of simple header. I mean, conversations about matter, impactfulness, and then short blurb on the four of us, and then we're going to talk about. I mean, something for people to relate to, and then the only thing we need to do, if you're cool with your old ones, Sarah and Christine and Andrew, you could just basically send a kind of a para or two to just add to the send, right? And then we can send it off. When do you guys wake up? So if I do it by lunch Swedish time tomorrow, we'll still kind of be able to or should I do it later this?
Yeah, we should probably get it as ASAP.
Yeah. Okay. So
so I'll send you the picture then.
Yeah. Cool.
And then.
And Andrew, can you send it in kind of like in an hour or so, kind of or point me in some URL direction to where to blurb you, so to speak?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you something.
Good, great. And then we need to sort of send Sarah off to her green room, right?
I do. I need to go. So I will talk to you later, and if there's anything, you can just shoot me a quick note and hang out, chat. Okay?
Great.
Yeah.
Yay! All right.
Great.
Have a great show.
Yeah.
Ciao.